TF2 player. I have Virgin, I know. I have over 4,000 hours, double Virgin, I know. So I like to think I'm a good player. A year ago, popular chud, Gamin4Hope, played TF2. He didn't really like it. I skipped through a bit of his gameplay in his VOD before trying to whatever, and he sucked. He just sucked. So I figured I'd do a like review thing of that. His VOD wasn't working here, so I'm doing this video by 4Durians. This is a pretty good. This is like a really good Gamin4Hope channel. Their edits aren't, overly annoying, but they're there. Like it's their own content. They're good. Sub to them if you can. And like I said, I have my little Dead Winged Orc fair use sell here. I don't think popular chud Gamin4Hope does that to my memory, but I figured I could at least get the niche reference in. But yeah, so I guess I'll just jump into it. He he immediately disabled text chat and voice chat, which is actually pretty smart, especially for Gamin4Hope. This was a year ago, so he wasn't as like popular or whatever, but yeah. I'll probably put this faster actually, just to get done with everything a bit faster. So I'd probably recommend he plays a lot of tank, but heavy isn't really that good for new players. He uses he's a situational class kind of. You're just a big easy target. You have to prep, to do any damage pretty much, unless you want to go around with a shotgun, which whatever. A lot of people say Pyro is good for new players. He's fine, but I feel like Soldier. I just feel like he's also really easy to get into. In Kaz, Scout isn't that good. Just because Sentries and Splash and other players, he just doesn't really have a chance to shine, even though he's pretty much the best in comp. Demo can be okay for spamming, but I feel like Soldier kind of gets that a lot simpler. NG is okay, Medic is iffy. Sniper probably not if you don't know maps and whatever, and then Spy, you know. So I am curious to see who he. Sniper, okay. If he was good at aiming, I'd say this is fine. He's Gamin4Hope. I don't think that's too smart, but we'll see. I'm sure he'll do something. Yeah, I think TF2 tends to be kind of weird with this. I use GeForce, whatever. It's not that bad, but I'd imagine some, I might skip this, actually. This is kind of whatever. It's good. Okay, so he's stupid. And then he gets killed by a spy. That's actually a pretty good way for him to start. I'd imagine he's gonna... Like, with how a lot of his Overwatch gameplay tends to be kind of like he tends to push forward a lot in Overwatch. In Overwatch, as tank, you can kind of do that. You die, sure, right? But in TF2, even heavy dies really fast, as opposed to someone like, Doom or something like that, where you're, you have all this, like, heal and, fuck, what's the word? There's a word I'm looking for. Excuse me. Damn. Damn it. I'll just say solo play. You have a lot more sufficiency. You're a lot more self-sufficient in Overwatch because 6v6, 5v5, whatever. In TF2, it's 12v12, 11v11. Like you have way more players, and the classes themselves aren't as equipped to solo play the way you would with like a tank. But also, Gamin4Hope's playstyle tends to be to focus on the front line a lot, and then when he does go into the back line, he just kind of gets his entire team killed, and then he gets popped, and it's over. But now, as a TF2 player, not only can you not do that as much in general, but you should focus a lot less on the direct front line, assuming there's a spy on the other team. So I see him getting. I think his main deaths are going to be from. I'm not sure. I think spy is definitely going to be one. I don't think sniper. This isn't really a sniper map. I don't believe. I haven't played this one much, but I don't think it'll be sniper. I think probably soldier, pyro, and spy are probably going to be his worst guys here. But there is also sentries. I feel like he'll die to a sentry a couple times, not realizing, oh, if I go close, like he'll probably try to dodge a sentry, like a bullet hell type of thing. I think I'm gonna call that. This is another thing for new players, by the way. As snipers, they think the SMG is like a primary, and it is. Like, a lot of people don't put the respect on the SMG that it should have. Especially if you get the gangster sniper mod. But sorry, if you get the gangster sniper mod, but they sort of they act like it's a lot better than it is. Same goes for the syringe gun. I feel like if he does try medic, he's 100% going to try to get a kill with his syringe gun, and he's just not going to. So I feel like that would be pretty funny. I should probably do more predictions, but I don't want this video to be too long, of course. Okay, okay. Of course he doesn't know. Why would he even try that? Overwatch doesn't have aiming like that, besides like Widow and like Ashe or something. Why is he trying to like... How does he... okay, I won't. Whatever. Killed by a spy again, I thought so. Let's see. I wasn't paying attention 100% there. Did the spy just... Okay, yeah. It cut. I wasn't sure if he got trick stabbed or something. I looked away for a second. Yeah, that's what I suggested. Like I said, I think Pyro could work too, but Soldier is definitely a bit more like Overwatchy. Don't mind that. Soldier is a lot more Overwatchy. He has the big projectile. He's a lot like Pharah, like old Pharah, back when she had like a lot more splash. Uh, you know, but Pyro could work too, even if he's a lot less Overwatch. Whatever. This is something I see. I know I keep pausing, sorry, but I see a lot of new players. Like, I feel like he'll definitely gravitate towards heavy, not just because of the whole tank, tank-like thing, but a lot of new players are like, "Where's my AR? Where is my my assault rifle, my automatic gun?" And so they tend to lean towards heavy, even outside of the whole tank thing, because they want that automatic weapon, but they don't recognize. Sorry, they don't necessarily realize heavy might have that, but he's also got like a couple good drawbacks to him. They just see, oh, he has a automatic weapon. I know automatic weapons from COD, from Overwatch, whatever. Same thing goes for the SMG and the syringe gun, but I'm just gonna try to call that now. I also a lot of new soldier players will try to not to try to hit like direct shots, like they're playing like new Pharah. I should probably mention I am a Pharah main in Overwatch, by the way. Whatever, but yeah. A lot of new soldier players try and actually hit their shots as opposed to, just abusing splash, which you can play soldier like that, but especially if you're newer, you probably don't want to, focus on actually hitting someone when you can just splash them for like whatever, like it's a lot easier to just miss somebody going for a direct shot than a, whatever. You understand what I'm saying, I'm sure. Yeah. Uh, damn it. Don't mind my mod, by the way. But another thing is that kind of sucks with this edit is you can't really see his health. I Something I like to recommend for new TF2 players is to watch especially soldier players is to watch like a rocket jumping tutorial, because the second you like somewhat memorize that, you're suddenly taking way less rocket jump damage because you're jumping, you're crouching, whatever. Um, yeah, I'd recommend he do that. Sadly, the edit here is blocking his health, but 100% he would have less, like a lot less health, than someone who even somewhat knew like basic rocket jumping of like, oh, you know, jump and do it, jump and crouch, whatever, whatever. And I think that's another thing, new TF2 players sort of lack is they don't. TF2 is a like pretty technical game, so a lot of the time they like TF2 is a video game you should like. It's hard to pick up and play. When I first got into it, I was watching a ton of Muselk, so I kind of had like a basic, idea of what I was getting into. Someone like Gamin4Hope thinks they have like the basics down, when they really don't. TF2 is a lot more. It's a lot less team based, unironically, than something like Overwatch. Each class is able to deal with situations much more. I mean, even like Medic, the support character, like he's arguably the most, at least in Cash, especially in Cash, but Kaz, whatever. In Comp, he is really good. I won't talk about Comp here. Comp is dead. Comp is not TF2. Casual is TF2. So I won't get into that, but in casual, Medic is, really good. And he's like the one class who can't really fight back. Like even Engineer, right? The you can't catch him by his buildings. Even he can put in really good work just like by himself. I mean, the shotgun is really good. The pistol is really good. He gets that. He can get the gunslinger, the Widowmaker. He can spec into being a really solo based guy. And that's good. Overwatch, you can kind of do that, right? But I feel like there's a lot more like, I guess, rock, paper, scissors, and like sort of team based aspect to everything. Like if you're Farah and the other team has like a semi good 76, then now you're taking a ton more resources from your support. Whereas for TF2, even if you're like a spy versus a pyro, you're not like doomed in the sense that you just lose the way you kind of do for 76, like for 76 and Farah. You need less help, I guess. If that makes sense. I'll try not to ramble as much, but we're 3 minutes in and I've been recording for 13 minutes. So yeah. That was actually a pretty good shot. I'm gonna go back there. That was actually a weirdly good shot. I mean, I wouldn't call it the best. I mean, the demo could have easily dodged it if he was a spy and, just any enemy. But I don't know. I mean, he kind of got the direct shot there. There might be hope. And then, random crit. I think that's his first random crit. He missed that, though. So that's cool. And then he gets spied again. And this is apparently his first domination, it seems. I think it's kind of funny. Sorry. Excuse me. I think it's kind of funny that he, there's a giant icon here showing a knife going into a back, and he doesn't get the, I just got stabbed in the back thing. You'd think he'd pay a bit more attention, but I guess not. Yeah, honestly, he wasn't doing that good a soldier. I feel like if he utilized splash damage, aim for the feet and they can't avoid whatever, he'd be doing a lot better. I mean, he clearly has, maybe, it could have been just luck, but there is maybe a sense of like actual rocket aim with, whatever. Like I said, it could be whatever, and the guy could have dodged. But there's a basis there that I kind of respect. But he's just gonna go pyro. He's 100% gonna M1. Um, as a partly pyro main, it hurts to see someone WM1. Pyro sucks. Pyro just sucks if you're trying to M1. You literally need a medic if you're trying to M1. And then, knowing Gamin4Hope, he's not going to try to combo his shotgun and his, flamethrower, which is one of the best ways to play Pyro, besides, flares or you could argue flare, flag Ubering, excuse me. But in terms of solo play, the flare gun and the shotgun are pretty much unmatched for Pyro. Excuse me. You can do stuff with the degreaser, the Dragon's Fury and the detonator, but and of course the scorch shot too. There's combos with that and the whatever the fuck. Anyway, yeah, but I think in general, especially for like a newer player who might not be good with flares, I'd recommend new pyro players to try to get good at, lighting someone on fire with their flamethrower with like a sweep. This is great actually, with like a sweep, and then I tend to air blast, and then I'll swap to my shotgun, whether it's the panic attack, the reserve shooter, which isn't that good on pyro, but it works, and the shotgun. The shotgun is, really good in this game. Uncle Dane has a whole thing about how it's not that good at direct damage, but it's got like weirdly good sustain. So yeah, in general, Pyro just dies at his own range. But if you're really good at, sweep and then air blast and shotgun, or you can just sweep and shotgun, because whatever. But if there's a like wall behind them, this isn't the range, but if he was like a little closer to this spy here, he could probably air blast him into the wall and then, get a good lineup for a shotgun, kill him pretty fast. That's one of the good things Pyro is good at. Soldier does it too, but Soldier doesn't have as much sustain. And of course you have to know different stuff for Soldier. I won't say Soldier is easier or harder than Pyro, but there's a different, metaphorical skill tree you have to spec into to play Soldier, and compared to Pyro. Like I said, excuse me. Scout is probably one of the best classes in the game, just in general. He's, he's really good at Soldier and whatever, but in casual, you aren't that good, simply in casual, which sucks. I mean, you have sentries, you have every type of damage. The guys you're fighting are probably surrounded by other people. And you're just dead pretty much. You can make Pyro work. You can make Scout work, but especially for a new player who just doesn't know maps, doesn't know what weapons do, doesn't even know Scout's job. Pretty much, I think. He just said, "Oh, this guy has a shotgun," but whatever. Yeah, I mean, there's no like. Whatever. If you get what I'm saying, like I don't really think Scout is a good beginner pick. Even for like not that good players, I feel like on a lot of maps, especially, he just sort of stumbles and falls. But I mean, we'll see, because this map is a bit more open. And I haven't seen an engineer on the other team, so whatever. Though Boy Kisser might low diff him, but. He sucks and then he gets stiffed by another scout. Damn. I mean, at least he got an assist. That's pretty good on Meowskull's feet freak. I'm not sure what he's talking about there. I feel like this is pretty normal for just video games, especially with minimized whatever. I use a different HUD, of course, But yeah, I'm not sure what his problem is, especially compared to like uh, sorry, I should have prepped this or something. But you know, I feel like Overwatch 2 has arguably more. I mean, you have all your icons here, you have your ammo, you know, here too. You have your health. In TF2, it's a bit more centralized, but I mean, I guess there is a bit more clutter with the top being like more longer. I guess you get a little bit more information for TF2, but I really don't see it being much of a uh, dichotomy or whatever the hell. This is another. Sorry, this is another reason it's good to watch videos on like guides on classes. You know, one of Scout's best things besides his speed and his damage is his double jump. Double jump is what gets you. Double jump is what dodges for you a lot of the time. I mean, if you see a rocket coming, you can just jump away. You know, you always have the high ground pretty much. Whatever, and yet as you can see, Mr. Chud here he's not jumping at all. Never mind, you know, double jumping. The way a true scout could, or you know, of course he doesn't have unlocks, so he can't, you know, triple jump. Can you tell I'm having fun with this? By the way, this is great. But yeah, like I said, he doesn't even kind of know what he's doing with each of the classes, and I really feel like he'd be doing significantly better, especially with how, you know, especially this situation, like he could easily like you know, jump over here, get pretty good high ground on the soldier. I forget what's over here, but I believe he could get up here a bit easier. And, you know, he might not have the aim to be like moving and double jumping and moving and double jumping and shooting and whatever, but it'd be a lot less like hate. It'd be a lot less like discouraging, I feel like, for him, because at least he'd be like, oh hey, I'm doing pretty good movement here. But you know, a man can hope. You think he's gonna? I think he was. Yeah, he's been shooting this guy from mid range. Oh, and then he gets scouted. Oh, I was right. Wow, Boy Kisser got him. Hell yeah. Damn. The Chud versus the furry. Wow. The furry femboy too. Ooh. Random crit. I mean, it's bound to happen, but you know, the fact that he died to a demo night is pretty sad. No offense to him, but the Uber jump scare. That guy just sucked, but and that, you know, whatever. They're all scout. Yeah, this must be a pretty good scout map then. Sorry. This must be a pretty good scout map then, because you know, if they're doing all good. He has a Left 4 Dead PFP. I literally predicted it. I'm calling it now. He's going to play heavy, and he's going to be like, oh man, you know, no, I have an automatic one. I recently tried to get my buddy into this game. He was really into heavy because he wanted that. We're good. We're good. He was really into heavy because he wanted that. He just wanted that automatic, you know, whatever. But he didn't really like pyro because pyro, you know. Excuse me. I have Mountain Dew. I don't even like Mountain Dew, but yeah. I mean, he just liked heavy, and he ended up quitting because heavy didn't have enough range. He was just sitting there shooting at people who were really far away, and they wouldn't die. And he was like, "Oh man, I really don't like this." Which fair. I mean, you know, this game really isn't for everyone. I won't say like, oh, it's so in depth or whatever, but it does have a lot of stuff to remember. And you know what? Yeah, fuck you. TF2 has depth, maybe sometimes. Unless you're playing soldier, in which you just shoot the floor. But yeah, um, like I predicted it. I predicted the heavy. I want a guy who shoots automatic. And this happens a lot with TF2. TF2 is really big on like splash and um, area denial, I guess. Um, excuse me. Pyro, soldier, demo, heavy, engineer, sniper, uh, demo. I think I already mentioned demo. Whatever. They're all good at area denial, and as such, scout. Wow. Scout, spy, and medic are. Spy just sucks. I won't, whatever. But scout and medic, who, they're only like direct. I don't know how to explain this. Soldier, demo, both get like they can hit you around corners, right? They have pretty solid range too, whatever. Pyro has really good sustained close range, whatever. And that's how he's good at area denial. Like, you don't want to be near a pyro, much like you don't want to be near a soldier, but pyro can just sustain you out in that situation, if that makes sense. NG has sentries. I won't go over him. Sniper has full sight lines where he can, one shot you or get most of your health. As such, scout and medic are made to be really good in other things. Medic is really good at support, and Uber is game winning. Literally game winning. If Uber didn't exist, casual would. It would. I can't even describe a world without a fucking Uber. But Scout is really good at 1v1s. This is why he's good at maps like this, where you spread out a little bit. You're not really fighting in teams as much. And he also has ways of avoiding area denial. Same for Pyro, because Pyro, you shouldn't just have a like fully close range character who gets speed at his own range. I won't go fully over that, but just know there's a lot of area denial in this game, and the more you play, the more you kind of realize that. But when you first start playing, you don't really recognize how restricted your movement can be if the enemy is doing their job. If that makes sense. I hope it does. I'm not like a coach or anything, but I'm trying to, whatever. For Mr. Hope here. Minigunner. This is another reason why I kind of wish, excuse me. I kind of wish the Tomislav like came free. A lot of people. I had to give my buddy the Tomislav because he didn't like the wind up idea, and so I'm like, oh, maybe you could get used to the Tomislav. It has the quicker wind up. And I feel like a lot of new players who don't have an inside guy who can give them like items, even outside of just wanting items, like pretty. The more beginner-friendly weapons are locked behind unlocks. Like, the Liberty Launcher isn't good, but I'd recommend it for newer players, because, it's easier to hit. And I guess you could argue it kind of crutches them, but, I guess you could. That's 100% fair. But they at least get that, like, that feedback, if that makes sense, Like, they have easier time hitting shots, they feel like they're doing more. The Tomislav is... Most people would say it's his best... heavies, best primary. They probably be right for that. I use the heater when I do the 2 times I ever play heavy, because I like the heater. But the Tomislav is just good, and especially for someone like this and like my buddy, who crave that, like, they don't want wind up, even if it's at the cost of like straight up power. And they simply don't have that, I guess. Like, they don't have that option. They have to use stock because unlocks are locked, So, Yeah.
I don't know if I like the gun selection so far. Gunplay is probably my least favorite part. This at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, yeah. I mean, he's just kind of repeating what I said. Like, this isn't COD. Uh, Tomislav kind of makes it ish like that, maybe sometimes. At least a lot of people, newer players tend to think that. But
This point. Can you guys hear the game? By the way, you never did say. What is all that? Whoa, 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 whoa. How about we all just?
yeah, no, he's doing heavy. Uh, another spy. Once again, this is why you watch guides. Sorry. This is why you watch guides on the game. Uh, this is why you watch guides. I don't think if he knew what spy did, he'd be falling. Of course, it's Gamin4Hope. He probably would, but yeah, I mean, if he knew what spy did, he probably would be turning around a lot more. He'd probably be catching spies a lot more. I think these might, not to sound like him for a second, but I could argue that these are stream snipers. I mean, the other guy was taunting after his kills. This guy might not be, but I don't normally see spies this much, which makes me think it could be stream snipers, which is based. But yeah, I just think if he, I've said this a couple times, but you really should watch videos on this game if you're trying to get into it. Like I said, there's so much like niche stuff classes do, and you don't know that if you just sit there playing. Clearly, some people have to die a couple times to the worst enemy, just the worst class in the game. Arguably, pirate's pretty or whatever, but yeah, I mean, you have to die a couple times to whatever. But watching videos will lessen that, like whatever, because there's been a couple times here where it's like, what killed me there? What? How did what? Where if you just watch like a single, one single video, he'd know. Okay, he walked up behind me and stabbed me. I will look behind me sometimes. So yeah. Frogan, what are you doing here?
No audio. What the heck? Okay, guys, I'm not gonna play a game all stream that has no audio. I mean, it's grabbing it for the video. I don't understand. I can hear the game just fine. Okay, you know what? We're doing this old-fashioned way.
I'll probably skip this until whatever.
I can hear the game just fine. Okay, you know what?
Right there, yeah, that's a bit better. Double random crit here. That was good. I probably would have. I'll try not to say it so much, but if he watched a heavy guide, he would know to jump rev here. Just jump and rev, and it probably would have. He would have taken less damage from this crit here had he done that. I think because instead of just slowing down to rev, he would have been over here. Though I mean, you could argue he might not have been able to kill him here if he was further, but maybe I mean, I guess that's the beauty with whatever is you never know, but I think general heavy practice would say to jump rev there. And I mean, he had pretty solid aim there. The crits definitely helped him. And I feel like now he's going to try to mid-range people. Sorry. He's going to try to mid-range people here a lot more because, crits can crutch him here. And then just going to be like, oh, now I can just gun down people at mid-range as heavy. You normally aren't doing that much. Unless they're trying to like surf off your bullets or whatever. But yeah. That was pretty good tracking. That was just like weirdly alright tracking. I wouldn't expect that from Mr. Hope. Yeah, that was a pretty good kill. I actually kind of respect that. He's a real heavy player now. I can't believe him. I mean, that wasn't that good. I mean, he shot the wall. I glazed the hope. This is another reason why the Tomislav is good. Assuming his tracking worked here, he probably had the scout. Sorry, he probably had the scout. He didn't really do this as a scout, by the way. He didn't really dodge that much. I probably should have mentioned that, but yeah, I mean, he's shooting the thing. I mean, what are you gonna do there? I mean, if the wall is talking shit, you gotta whatever the wall. And then he's unrevving. Once again, Tommy's love would come in good here. Yada yada. Algo, whatever. MAGA.
You see, this is the thing. Like, loud does not equal funny. No, no, no. Audio won't route through a modern audio. The fact that I don't know how.
This is one of my this is one of my least favorite maps in the game. It just sucks. It's so open. It's just so open. It's such a gay. I'll say it's a gay map. This is a gay map. I just don't like it that much. A lot of people kind of like it for a scout or whatever, but I feel like especially as a pyro player, it's just not that good. For a soldier and scout, it's really nice. Medic 2, apparently, I saw a video recently of. Sorry, I'm rubbing my eyes. I saw a video recently of some guy hitting like a 3 kill, not a 3 kill streak. He got like a triple kill against a group of basically free to plays, but it was still pretty impressive. Yeah, he did pretty good against them here. So I guess Battle Medic is also pretty good here. I mean, there is still time for a Battle Medic play. You might try Spy, but yeah, especially for new players too. I'm not sure if this is that good of a map. Sorry, I'm out of. That's my Mountain Dew gone. Yeah, I don't think this is that good of a map for new players. There's a lot of verticality too, and I feel like he's gonna get splashed by soldiers and maybe demos a lot here, and then get mad at that. Especially because he doesn't know how to air blast, which he would have if he watched a video. Yeah.
What is happening? No, I don't think I will. One below.
Maybe Spy isn't that bad. Go for the stream sniper.
Or maybe someone with your same exact name. I can't move.
I mean, he might get pocketed here.
Someone with your name. You have an impersonator.
Like a spy. Whoa. Alright, that was good. Speaking of, wow, speak of the devil. Speak of the hope. I mean, that was good. He spy checked. That's just good. I don't think he meant to, of course, but this is just good. He's helping his NG. He probably could, he probably could have swapped to his shotgun there to kill him a bit faster, but the NG helped him with that. That was good. That was a good kill. Good team play, whatever. Has he swapped? Damn it. Has he swapped to his shotgun once as pyro, by the way? I don't think he has. Now he's gonna M1, I think. Yeah. Also, target acquisition here. I feel like you should probably recognize that this is spawn, and so instead of going for him, he could go for the medic, which, medic is probably a better pick here. Medic is more vulnerable. He's just a better class to kill most of the time, especially at this range with the sniper in spawn. We also don't know how much Uber the medic has, which it's not that far in the round, but he might have a bit of Uber. So making sure he's dead is smart. Of course, this is something you learn by playing the game. And videos can tell you this, but they don't really like teach you that per se. But I still think he should recognize basic FPS target priority. Like I feel like if you swap this exact situation with like a Widow and a on a Mercy, whatever, especially Mercy. I mean, knowing how, you know, I just realized how gay his shirt is. Whatever. Basic gaming says to go for this guy first, but whatever. And to be fair, he probably could have gotten both too if he swapped to a shotgun. If he didn't WM1 his pyro and he swapped to a shotgun and he used a shotgun on pyro. But yeah. Instead, he's just M1ing. M1ing is super overrated as pyro. Against good players, it just doesn't work. You get burst fired and pretty much two bits of burst damage. You really can't do anything. That's why swapping to the shotgun is so much better. Is it just works better? Yeah, because you don't have stuff like this where they just walk away to safety. Yeah. Okay movement with M1ing. His tracking is iffy, and he clearly doesn't know the range of it. But I mean, at least he's making an attempt to dodge. I think he could have. When I play, I tend to like, say I'm trying to get here, I'll like, crisscross my way while I'm jumping. It just makes you harder to hit, and especially as pyro who doesn't need to aim as much per se. It's just good practice. You're taking less damage. You're doing relatively the same damage, and especially if you can track or whatever. Whatever. This is actually a pretty alright spot for pyro. Damn it. It's a pretty good spot for pyro. One of the really good parts about pyro's flamethrower is it hurts groups. Pyro is pretty vulnerable against groups. He can't immediately get out unless he's using like the detonator, which takes a third of his damn health, and leaves him basically no secondary for actual damage. But his ability to hit people through each other is something no other class in the game really has besides sniper, but you aren't really doing that as sniper. I mean, I felt like if he played his corner more, he could have definitely like really, especially I believe there's a health pack under this bridge. He really could have had this a bit better. He might not have gotten the full kill because they have a medic and spawns right there, but he definitely could have delayed a lot more, which is pretty. Which is really good as well. I mean, one kill gets a guy out for however long it takes him to respawn, but stalling stalls three people for say you're doing it for the same amount of time. It's happening for the same amount of time. You've essentially killed three people, even if you don't have the KD boost. But yeah, and then he dies here, of course, because yeah. Which also, he probably would have had this kill too if he was just faster, not faster, closer to his target, because there was a good second he wasn't getting continuous damage. Pyro has ramp up for his damage with how many little flame spark things he has touching you. So when you don't get that for a second, the damage like drops significantly. So yeah, you can see it here. He just doesn't hit him directly for a second, and those little bits of fire, they're particles. The way it happens is it shoots a ton of particles, basically. But yeah, if he was just closer here, he just would have had him. I'm not sure if he would have survived it per se, but he 100% would have gotten the kill, especially maybe even with Afterburn. Which Afterburn isn't that bad on pyro, like that good in general, unless you're using like flare guns or extinguisher or whatever. But yeah, I mean, he probably would have gotten the scout either way here. The medic seemed kind of new, he probably wouldn't have noticed. If he was just faster, if he had that muscle memory of, flamethrower range, he probably would have, the flamethrower range along with the positional whatever of that little corner to like peak fire and whatever. Yeah, he probably would have killed that scout, stalled that little engagement or whatever. And with his team already having, about to controlling the hill, he definitely would have helped his team a lot more than just stalling slightly and then dying and waiting for a respawn. So.
I actually got a kill. I thought you played Scout. Also, I don't know their names.
Uh-oh. Medic, maybe? I don't know. Demo? Demo's okay for starters. Hitting pills is, you know, Demo has built-in safety nets for, missing. There's a guy here, say there's a guy here, right? And I go pew, pew, pew with my, grenade launcher. And I short do it, right? When it hits like here, he can't back up now without taking damage, even though I missed. Like I said, built-in, if you miss a scout, you just miss. If you miss his demo, you still have live damage, essentially. Same goes with the sticky launcher, though that's a bit more, you have to actually time the sticky whatever. And of course, I'm not saying you should try to miss with the grenade launcher, but you have that leniency. That's the word I'd use. You have that leniency to miss, and of course there is just splash in general with stickies. But in general, I feel like demo is okay for new players. Even if he's not the very best, like Soldier or Pyro would be, he's still all right for new players. So yeah. Also, demo's drawback of not being that good at close range, unless you can, like, of course, hit pipes or, crutch a random crit with your bottle or whatever. Damn. You don't get that much in TF, in most whatever, TF games. You have 10 plus other guys on your team. A lot of the time, unless you're like clearly overextended, you're sort of, you sort of have that fallback if you do, run out of ammo. So that's pretty good. Though one thing is Demo's reload is probably going to be a bit annoying for him. I'm sure he'll, dump all his pills and his, probably just his pills. I'm not sure if he'll probably be like, oh, the SMG wasn't that good and the shotgun wasn't that good. I don't see a point in using the sticky bomb launcher. So he's just gonna dump all 4 pills and then he's gonna die and he's gonna be like, this character sucks. At least that's my prediction for. Oh, unless he's just gonna go heavy and yeah. Like I said, by the way, big sight lines for sniper, and new players probably don't really they don't recognize that as much as like a well, researched or whatever player would. They always go the main way, which is super sniper heavy on this map. Shit. Yeah. Simply put, like I said, bad map for new players, but I guess it could teach you something about snipers. So. I'm not sure what he's like. Whatever this face is like, gnoming around, keemstarring around. I mean, sniper class, sniper sightline. He got shot in the head. This could be Widow. This could be whoever the sniper in Rivals is. This could be fucking Strix from Paladins. It's the sniper character shooting you in the head. You're probably going to die. Not sure what he's shooting at here. I think he thinks he can shoot through the wall here. I mean, you just can't. Yeah. And I think also he might, damn it, he might not know the minigun is hit scan and not a projectile. So I think that might also be something. Is he's trying to pre-fire it the way you would like a, you know, Sierra. I think the lock-on girl, the way you would with her, because whatever. Damn it. Oh, sorry. Heavy again. Let me redo that for you. This is another thing you learn by just playing the game. He might not have had the reaction time to react to the spy, but you could clearly hear his medic getting, surprised, for a lack of a better word, behind him. You got his medic getting killed, and if you're trained for spies, you can hear that and immediately, I can't turn him around or whatever, and I can't turn this around, but you'd immediately flip over and deal with that spy, especially because you're heavy. I mean, you're supposed to be the most dangerous close range class, provided you're revved like he was. But I guess not all of us. Okay, I guess not all of us can, know that, at least on our first day. He did not. He stabbed the guy right next to you and then walked to you. Like I said, if you watched a damn spy video, you'd fucking know that. Yeah. I mean, he's getting mad at stuff that just isn't happening, which he'd know about if he just cared to look up, basic TF2 knowledge, whatever. So. I have a water, by the way, sorry. Much longer. Yeah. I think I'll speed this up a little. I think this is just going to be a repeat. Okay. Alright, I mean, he reacts to the damage behind him. And then he shoots the wall for some reason. Which, this is another thing I noticed. New players in a lot of first-person games, I don't know what exactly it's called. This is something in, like, urban warfare or whatever. But, like, there should not be a guy here. You should really trust your teammates to clear this corner, considering they went past it, they saw the guy not be there. You should trust them to not whatever, but I guess you could also make the point that he just doesn't know the map, he doesn't know, what is behind here, and of course he might think he can shoot through it or whatever, but, excuse me. Double headshot, that was actually really nice. I didn't even know you could shoot. Damn! Okay, I don't play this map enough for that. Did he shoot through it, or did he whatever? Damn, this might be new to me, because I don't, the quality isn't, damn it, the quality isn't enough. I'm not sure, huh? I'm not actually sure what happened there. I might be washed here. I don't play a lot of King of the Hill, so I'm probably not the best for this, but for that, but that's the same. The entire point of how classes look are it's supposed to be because they're, you see a guy and you're like, oh, that's a pyro, that's a whatever. I guess you could make the point that this one has a jetpack, but I don't know. I feel like you can get the basic shape with this if you just pay attention. And like I said, but literally the Steam page of the game, I believe, starts with. I could probably check this actually. No. Oh, I kind of like that actually. I can just do that. I'm pretty sure the Steam page for this has it has pyro in the jetpack, doesn't it? I feel like because it starts with the Jungle Inferno thing. So if he just watched the trailer, he'd he'd know that because it ends with. Does it not end with pyro? Yeah, I mean, there's pyro right there with it. If he just watched the only video on the starting thing for the Steam page, he'd have that. So I'm not sure what whatever, but yeah, I mean, it's just a case of like, you know, borderline willful ignorance, I guess.
Wait, how is this man flying? Who is that?
But I mean, I guess we're dumb. We're whatever. I shouldn't be insulting him like this, but you know, like I said, I think he'd get a lot better of an experience if he just sat there and watched. Even Musilk, like Musilk didn't do like fully educational videos, but you could still pick up on a lot of the stuff that he did. At least when I first started TF2, how many years ago? You know, like you pick up on stuff just by watching, and of course you can watch like like Lazy Purple, right? To get like, oh, you know, a rundown of what classes do, you know. But you don't even need that. You can just watch like basic gameplay videos to be like, okay, this class is this. And getting mad at stuff like that and being like, oh, who's this? What's this? And getting like mad about it. It's really your fault. But you're still like blaming the game, I guess, if that makes sense. Like it's your fault and you're still whatever. You understand. You understand. Back to Sniper. I think you saw that the other guy was Sniper and doing good. Excuse me, it is really hot in here. Yeah, I think you saw the other Sniper was doing good. Another. Say it with me. You should watch videos on TF2 before you really try to play TF2. You know, breakpoints. Sniper is really big on breakpoints. Um, he's not gonna know, you know, if you wait that, you know, if you can't just immediately quick scope. You have to wait like I forget what the exact charge time is, but you can't. He probably doesn't even know that you can't headshot without aiming, but you have to aim a certain amount of time to get a headshot. Headshots do a specific damage, depending on how much you have aimed in ADS, you know, whatever. Excuse me. And I don't think he's gonna know that, so I feel like he's gonna try to he's definitely gonna hard scope everybody. But I think even if he was able to actually hit his shots, um he would be either charging up or not charging at all. Which, to be fair, good sniper players just hit 2 headshots on any target and beat them. But I feel like he's not really gonna know that. He could also not really go for headshots that much. Like I know a pretty good thing. Sorry, big thing. New sniper players will do is they'll go for body shots because they're like, oh, it's a lot easier than aiming. And with how big movement is, and they don't even know movement, that much. They might know scout double jumps. They might know soldier sometimes does a big jump. Um, you know, but they don't know, and they don't even know like movement speeds compared to other classes. Uh, yeah, I mean, a new sniper isn't really a good class to directly get in the game with. If you're really good at clicking heads, then sure, I guess you could make like whatever work per se. But yeah, I feel like you, like I said, you do better learning with pyro or soldier. Um, yeah, we'll see.
Okay, why is ADS click? What is that? Who would ever make it that way by default?
Who would make ADS click?
ADS.
Unless he means like toggle and not.
Type past it. Look up and down. Communication.
What does he want ADS to be? What? Seems sniper rifle and he doesn't see it. Okay. Uh, this is another thing. I'll lower this.
You just don't have an option?
Uh, advanced settings is right there, right here. It sucks that they
Hold the ADS.
Sorry, they do the gay ass options and then advanced options. And so you think, you're done with the options when you look at just the option instead of whatever. It's dumb, it's stupid, but I mean, it's there. Another thing you know if you watched TF2 videos before you tried to play TF2 and got mad at TF2 and spoke bad about TF2, which TF2 does have flaws, but, you know, to get mad at stuff that is a problem, but stuff that shouldn't be necessarily a problem to someone who thinks the game is actually worth getting into, if that makes sense. Like, if you want to get into a game, you should probably at least kind of get a grasp of it. That might just be personal, but as you can tell, this is someone who he didn't really try to get into the game the way he should have, and as such, it's chewing him up and it's spitting him out. Whereas for someone like me, all the way back then, I took that time to, learn it, and I got pretty good at it. So, yeah, I mean, it could just be like a preference thing. I'm sure some people have meat grinded their way through whatever, but yeah, I think the mass public is probably better with my more, whatever. And that's not even to say you have to watch like straight up informational videos. Like I said, just like Musel, just like Play with Sin probably isn't the best. He uses a lot of pocket medics and whatever. But you still at least kind of get what classes can do. So yeah, my legs are killing me. I might have to wrap this up before the video ends. Another thing, if you paid attention, I'll say like watch videos whenever it really happens, but yeah, I mean he panicked when the fire weapon wasn't like sustained, so he's like, what? Pyro can this character can do multiple things, which even if you just watch the trailer for the game on the Steam page, you'd know, oh yeah, that's a different weapon, Oh, I mean, I guess he said, how did you not hear him, but oh well. This is a pretty common thing, I think, if I believe, too, but yeah. Which TF2 can be pretty iffy with, got it. I'm getting antsy. TF2 is pretty iffy with footsteps. I can see why you didn't hear him there. I mean, that is kind of a fair complaint. But this also isn't the best spot to stand as sniper. You can get kind of rushed easily from here. Which I guess, you could argue he should know that. I mean, there's not that bad of a sight. Even got a pointer from that other guy shooting him way back when to go to the other side, but never chase, never learn, I guess. Sniped again. Yeah, I mean, you could also argue that, here he failed to recognize that sightline again. I mean, he already died to it. He probably could have been a bit more vigilant, I guess, for this. Officially knows, I mean, if he's going to get one shot from there, he should probably pay attention to it. Excuse me again, sorry. I like chug that Mountain Dew, so. And like really, to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna walk in here, I'm gonna not play the game correctly, I'm gonna not learn when I die, I'm gonna not learn literally anything, I'm going to not even play every class. I don't think he hasn't played medic, he hasn't played spy, he hasn't played demo, he hasn't played NG. To jump in and be like, oh, do people actually like this game, dude? Dude, this is just nostalgia bait, dude. I don't even think he didn't use his shotgun as pyro. I don't think he used it as soldier. He's pretty much just used his primary weapons and also the SMG. So I don't even think he's taken out his melee once, which, you shouldn't be doing that as a new player especially, but, unless you're spy, of course. But, like, this is like in his terms or whatever, like Overwatch 2, which he sucked at Overwatch 2, obviously. But to be like, if I walked in Overwatch, knew nothing, I go on King's Row and I try to run at people as, I guess, soldier, right? Like if I try to play Overwatch 2 like COD as 76, right? Which 76, you tend to pretend I'm on his head here. You pretend to like position yourself a bit more and then, shooting gallery people, as opposed to COD where you just like run, shoot guy, run away. Yeah, you tend to do that a bit more. But it's like playing it like that and being like, dude, where's my nades? And then you get killed by Helix nades and you're like, dude, what is that? And then you don't use Helix nades, you don't use heal, you just run in, die, get mad. You're like, dude, people actually play. You don't even use your abilities. You don't even sprint. And you're like, dude, people actually like this game? And then like some like, what would be the equivalent in Overwatch to something like Sniper or Spy? That isn't like Widow. Like rushing an Ana, getting sleep darted, and then, popped, right, by your team, and be like, dude, the support character is one-shotting me like that and not trying to play around her cooldown. Being like, dude, people like this game. Like, I out-positioned that Ana, which, Ana, I love Ana. She's my support main. Like, one of the good parts about Ana is, I won't say you can't completely give up positioning, but, one of the benefits of Ana is if you can hit your sleep dart, you just win 1v1s, even if you're a support character. Well, that fits pretty all right. Even if you're a support character. So that would be like, a DPS trying to 1v1 an Ana, getting slept dart because they're not playing corners and they're not playing around cooldowns, and being like, dude, this game sucks. Supports suck, dude. I'm the damage character. I should be killing her. And you're just completely like giving up any sort of like nuance just to try and like rock, paper, scissors it. Like I can tell you now, like if he made this game, that sightline wouldn't exist. And Sniper in general wouldn't exist. And I'm not even saying Sniper is perfectly balanced, right? I mean, he's good at like, you could argue he's too good at controlling sightlines and too safe when doing it. But he wouldn't even be in the game if Gamin4Hope didn't. Same for Spy. Spy's a good example. I feel like Spy wouldn't be in the game if, Gamin4Hope could help it, because he'd be like, oh, he can, god damn. Oh, he can one-shot? Dude, dude, ma'am, did you know Spy can one-shot you? He can throw his knife. He can't throw his knife. Dude, he can literally one-shot you, and throw a knife at you, and you die, and that's unfair. Have you tried actually learning the class? No. Like that's what it feels like to me. Like no intent to learn the game and still that's like playing like chess and being like, dude, this sucks, bro. Why is the pawn going to the side? Dude, this game sucks, bro. Like that's the energy, I guess. That's the energy. That's the vibe I'm getting. Like that's just what it feels like. When you just completely refuse to learn a game, and then, why do people enjoy this? Why do people enjoy this, bro? Dude, why do people enjoy Overwatch when you just get slept dart, and then antied, and then die, and you play Zarya, and you get your bubbles popped immediately because you suck ass, and you die, or whatever, but yeah. In today's day and age, bro. Hey, bro, my... Sorry. I'm mostly joking here, but bro, my ability slot. Where's my ability slot, bro? Dude, I need my lock on, insta kill, 8-second cooldown, insta kill, dude. I need my vertical jump and my horizontal dash, bro. Bro, give that to me, bro. I need that. Dude, my entire gameplay style is one weapon, bro. Why is switching even in this game, bro? Like one of the awesome parts about TF2 that I love, and one of the biggest reasons why I play Pyro, is because of how fun utilizing your secondary with your primary is. Soldier is really good at this. Or Pyro's the best at it, I'd argue. Medic kind of with the crossbow is pretty good at it too if you're playing that correctly. But Pyro's are really, probably my favorite example of it because if you just try to use your primary like he was doing, you're not going to get that much success. But if you utilize your secondary, your squirt shot, your flare gun, your shotgun with your primary weapon, you're able to do so much, and that goes with Scout, right? Like Mad Milk is probably one of his best weapons. Soldier has all of his banners, which are directly, you're not meleeing people as Soldier in Kaz settings. Like they intertwine so well, Critical boosts Scout's primary. The crossbow works well with the vaccinator and the medigun, every whatever, because it's sustained healing and burst healing. Sniper gets Girardi, so he has a bit better close range. He gets the SMG for a bit safer overall gameplay. NG gets kind of bullshit, but he gets the short circuit and the Wrangler to make him. I mean, I guess it doesn't really go with his primary that much, but whatever. I mean, I guess you could argue the pistol is good with the shotguns because Widowmaker, you're not taking metal. Damn it. Widowmaker, you're not taking metal. And you have a mid-range option. You can broken and batter people. Heavy, you have the Sandwich, which is really good for helping your medic and your self. You have the shotgun for if you don't feel like revving, or aren't in a situation where you think revving is good. Demo has the sticky bomb launcher and the grenade launcher to make up for the differences of each other. You get it, right? Like you get it, basically. And to sit there exclusively using your primary, he's just playing the game wrong. I mean, there's no like, I don't mean to be like, you're doing it wrong, Mr. Hope, you're doing it wrong. But like, he really is just playing wrong and then getting mad when it doesn't work. He's trying to play chess with checkers. Chess against checkers, I should say, because his enemies seem pretty good. He's playing chess against checkers and then being like, dude, dude, this game sucks. Who wants to play this? Who wants to play this, dude? Like, whatever. I'm rambling. This video is probably like an hour long, an hour and 13 minutes long. Nobody's gonna watch this, but yeah, I'll keep going, and I'll try not to rant as much. But honestly, pretty good movement and all right tracking here. He probably could have tossed in a couple hip fires instead of reloading here, but oh no, I'm in the Scout. Yeah, he also tried to, whatever. I'm not sure why he tried to take this fight. He knows the guy has a shotgun, and I guess he kind of thinks his SMG is, worth using. But I feel like basic gameplay design kind of like this is like Widow. This is literally Widow. Like Widow's primary, unscoped primary isn't that good at, because she's so good with her scope. I feel like it's kind of basic gameplay design to be like, oh, the SMG probably isn't that good, especially when I pump around into a guy and he doesn't die. But he's gonna get mad here and be like, how did he win that? Unless he just quits here. Oh no.
There is a high chance I go play Overwatch. I'm gonna be honest with you.
He probably went on like a 5-loss streak. God, I didn't spill it, but I dropped my. Nah. He's doing things to me. He's doing terrible things to me. Yeah, and then he lost.
Killed me. I've seen 2 of your names in here, and neither of you play this game? You're on my team. One below. What is going on?
I'm gonna skip past this because I could not care less.
Are you actually?
Alright.
Why do people play that video game?
Like, I've already been through the rant. I'll just let him blabber and be stupid or whatever. I shouldn't say that. I mean, I'm going to sugarcoat it. Guys, games aren't for everyone. I mean, sometimes. Okay. Yeah. I I still think he played the game wrong. It's like if I like went in like some like science test without studying. I'm like, why don't I understand all of this? Science sucks. This stuff doesn't even make sense. It's exactly what it feels like to me. And then being like, dude, scientists, scientists are pretty, you know, yeah, but to like, you understand, I'm sure.
Anyone play this? Why would anyone in their right mind play this game?
And then I feel like people like this kind of fuel the whole like TF2 versus Overwatch thing, which it's basically dead now. But like, I don't know, it feels so like iffy for like an Overwatch streamer who sucks at Overwatch to try TF2 badly, suck at it, and be like, why do people play this? I'm gonna go play Overwatch. Nicole, I'm gonna go play Overwatch. Jeffrey would definitely be an Overwatch player. My goat hunter would be a TF2 player, I'm sure, but
I have 9 minutes of footage. I have 9 minutes of
damn.
footage. I'll make a video about it, but man, it's literally just gonna be about a video game that sucks.
He's baiting. I mean, no man is this. I'm not gonna say it, but okay. You understand that, and I mean, he could be kind of brainwashed by how much he's. Also, you know what? I'll whatever. There's like a user rant basically. I mean, he could just be blinded by how much he straight up sucks. I'll say that. Like, it might not even just be like a malicious thing. He might just be too stupid to like actually understand it, if that makes sense. I mean, he can't even try to watch a video for whatever. He can't even try to learn stuff. He can't even whatever. He just walks at the enemy team and dies and is like, oh, why is nothing happening? Why is nothing happening? You know. Uh, yeah. I mean, it could just be that, I guess. But
That is terrible. I feel like the only people who are playing that are genuinely people who just can't let go of the stump.
I mean, that's kind of what Overwatch is too, in a way. I feel like a lot of people who play Overwatch, that's why Rivals got so big. I feel like it's because a lot of people are like, there's too much nostalgia for Overwatch. But I mean, that's more rambly. That's Overwatch, which I like Overwatch too. I play both. I have a lot more hours in TF2, but Overwatch is fun too. I mean, I like it. They are similar, but I feel like people overplay how similar they really are. I mean,
I don't think I ever need to play that game again.
you
I
just
don't think I need to.
like he's baby raging. I'll say it. I kind of am too, right? Like I'm user ranting or whatever the hell, but like he's raging, like he's baby raging off like like literally a toddler like throwing his toys away like I hate this, like that's it. That's not even what it feels like. That's what this is. He plays wrong, he sucks, he refuses to learn or even try to learn, and then just fails, and it's like, dude, this game sucks, dude. And it's like, okay, Rao, okay, Mr. Hope.
What the heck was that? Are there any? Be honest with me. If you're here and you enjoy this game, would you tell me why? And I'm being very honest, because I don't see the appeal.
But yeah, like he can't even see the appeal because he can't even attempt the appeal of like how good switching weapons is, how good the movement is, how good, class synergy and intricacies for combat and whatever, and learning and understanding and, recognizing patterns in how enemies play. And he can't even fathom that. So he just defaults to, what could you like about this game? Dude, this game doesn't let me alt off the map as Zarya. It doesn't let me, get boosted by, esports players. I can't do anything here. I can't do anything here. This game sucks clearly, And I guess it does kind of fit him to, a guy who really does suck in solo play for video games to prefer a more team-based game like Overwatch as opposed to a more like solo-ish focused game like TF2, because in TF2 unless you have like a pocket mid, you're not really getting carried the way you would like in an Overwatch match. And then also, of course, the TF2 esports, comp gameplay is whatever. Like I'm sure if he had like Benny, which I haven't watched Benny. He's probably watched or something. You know, yeah, like if he had him, he probably would be doing pretty good, but nowhere near as like whatever as Overwatch. Which another rant here. I do like. I feel like they do have similar player like agency, if that makes sense. Like they both, you have a lot of impact in both games if you're playing well. How sorry. However, in TF2, uh, you need to be better solo than in Overwatch. If that makes sense. Like, pro Overwatch players are, going full team synergies and doing all this. I gotta have Pharah Mercy. I literally cannot play Pharah without Mercy, dude. I gotta play, the other team has, that's another thing too, is, like countering, like, oh, the other team has Hog, let me immediately go on it. Oh, they have Malga, let me immediately go on it. Oh, they have Reinhardt, let me immediately go on it. Oh, they have a tank, let me immediately go on it. Whatever. And TF2 doesn't really have that. So once again, your player, you're not shut down as much depending on who you play. Like, you could argue, yeah, I mean, Pyro can make Spy's day kinda hell, much like every other class in the game can make Spy hell because Spy is hell. But, you know, Spy can still turn that table much more than a Malga or a Roadhog can beat equally competent, Ana, whatever, if that makes sense. And then of course you can also go into like combat or whatever of how like, DPSs aren't really 1v1ing tanks as opposed to like a Pyro being able to 1v1 a heavy if he's, dual wielding and whatever and whatever. Yeah. This reminds me of sorry, Darian, but I've been wanting to do a video on this, by the way. Game. I've been wanting to do a video on this. There's been a ton of those, but I might do a video on this one day. But it's been done to death. Deadlock is just dead, much like the actual game itself. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of reminding me of that a lot. Whatever. Which is, a guy with nothing. He doesn't even understand Overwatch or comprehend TF2, and yet he's still trying to compare that. And I feel like that's a lot similar to what this was, where they're just saying blatantly false information, much like Mr. Hope is with, oh, he's throwing the knife. Dude, he's throwing the knife, bro. Yeah, so.
But it could just be that I'm not the right audience for it. But can you explain?
Actually, let me get a good freeze frame here. Hi, Mr. Hope. I think that, yeah, I think for TF2, a lot of the, I've talked about it already. I mean, a lot of the draw to TF2 is solo play and how good an individual player, I can't speak, but a single player can be for a team, as opposed to Overwatch, where you're playing with your team a lot more. So, Mr. Hope, you have that social aspect to it. Doug, surprisingly, I mean, I'll look it up, but I won't watch it. Doug, TF2 versus Overwatch. Explained with food. It's just a really good video. I'm a huge Doug fan. I actually have his plushie somewhere around here. But yeah, I mean, he perfectly explains it a lot of the time. Is it's been a while since I've seen it, but Overwatch is more like a cake you're baking with a ton of other people. TF2 is a lot more like a Hershey chocolate bar mix type of thing, and honestly, I wonder if Gamin4Hope watched Mr. Gamin4Hope, if you watched Doug's TF2 video, I feel like you'd honestly kind of understand it a lot more, pardon my pun, but it's a bit more digestible than playing the game, which, for the 50th time, Mr. Hope, if you would watch videos about the game that you're trying to play and, not get completely ruined, it would have been smart to check out that video, especially because that's one of the only actual good Overwatch versus TF2 videos. It makes some pretty actually like fair comparisons to how both of the games play, Mr. Hope. And so, I think you'd get that a lot more than when you're just trying to like, run at people and basically tank as every single class and just not effectively using classes for what they are for. But instead, you just download the game, you don't even watch a trailer, and then you get mad when the game, when the multiplayer game has stuff you don't understand and people doing stuff you don't understand, and you just get mad at it. Just get mad at it, Mr. Hope. I mean, like, what are you doing? What are you doing, Mr. Hope? Mr. Hope. Uh, yeah. I mean, yeah, once again, another user ran on probably half an hour and a half almost, but
You never thought you'd see the day where I rage quit? Oh, I wasn't rage.
he didn't rage quit, he just practiced his free will.
Why people play that, I'll never understand.
Yeah, I won't even say it again. You understand. You're smart, I'm sure. You know.
Why people play that, I'll never understand.
I do. I wonder how well he would. I wonder how well he would do in a like a trade server. Because a lot of the time, if I want to just listen to music and chill, I'll get on a. I'll turn the music off. If I want to get on a trade server, I'll just like go on a trade server and just go around killing people. And I wonder how well Mr. Hope would be for that. Oh hey, another lolcow. And one I just referenced. But yeah, I wonder how he'd do in a setting like that where you just try to kill people, because that's pretty much all he ever does in Overwatch. Even if he fails at it, of course. Uh, yeah, I mean, I wonder just how much different it would be. This is a nice flamethrower, by the way. I have a Warhawk myself, but yeah, excuse me, by the way. Yeah, I mean that's just good. Uh, but yeah, I should have mentioned, by the way, he wasn't really going for objective a lot of the time. He sort of played around it. This is another thing I noticed is, uh, you'd think from a guy playing from Overwatch where, you know, the objective matters a bit more. The way TF2 functions, it's a bit more about kills. Not to say whatever, like, not to say the objective isn't important in TF2, but it's a little more secondary compared to kills. Just the way the game works. You're going for full team wipes in Overwatch. You're going for single picks a bit more in TF2. So you're getting single kills a bit more. So objective does matter a bit less. But he wasn't really playing the objective a lot, which I figured was kind of weird for a Overwatch player. Like I said, you're going for full team fights in or around the objective with Overwatch, and in TF2 you go for single people and you kill them and you level up your stat track and you make them mad, and then yeah. Can you tell I'm getting tired here? Yeah. I think the video is basically over here. Yeah, it's Benny. But yeah, I mean, sorry for this long video. Sub to Fordurians. She, whatever. I really like their content. I've been, watching them a bit. Ever since this video, I think the Domino video. And yeah, like I said, they're good. I mean, I like their edits. Their edits aren't obnoxious as many other Gamin4Hope editors are. I don't think they're a bad person. I know there's some like controversy with whoever going on right now, but I can't say for sure. Hopefully this was, fair use enough. I took a 15-minute video and made it an hour and 30, literally a fucking movie. But yeah, thank you for watching. And yeah, I mean, I love TF2. If you want to get into TF2, it's a good game. If you, like I said, I've stressed watching videos. Yeah, I really do think a lot of people could get into TF2 if they really like tried and like actually made an actual attempt. So I think that's why I'm so like jaded, sardonic or whatever about you know, Gamin4Hope just completely messing it up. But yeah, so thank you for watching and good luck. Good luck.